Hey guys, Breezy CPA here, your certified public accountant, back with another video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, hit that subscribe button. We are well on our way to 1 million subscribers. We should get there by 2045 based on my rough calculations, but the only way that's going to happen is if you hit that subscribe button. So if you haven't already, it would be much appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel so we can reach that 1 million mark in the next 20 years. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at this article that I found here. Less than half of public accounting staff hold CPA licenses at accounting firms. So the larger the accounting firm, the fewer CPAs it has on staff, according to new data from Inside Public Accounting. Taking a look at this data, we can see here that data reveals that the CPA license is losing ground. The CPA credential remains a cornerstone of the profession, but new data indicate its prominence is steadily declining. And we have seen that in various areas as far as the number of CPA candidates that are taking the exam, as well as the aging workforce with the boomers retiring and losing a lot of CPAs within the accounting workforce. Between 2020 and 2024, the average percentage of staff holding CPA licenses across all firms dropped from 56% to 48.4%. The decline has occurred across all firm sizing, suggesting a systematic shift in both hiring practices and credentialing trends. Larger firms, which tend to offer a broader array of advisory and consulting services, report even lower CPA ratios, with only 41.5% of staff holding CPA licenses in 2024. Several factors appear to be contributing to this trend. Firms are expanding into non-traditional service areas, which often require different skill sets, not necessarily being a CPA, maybe just some other type of accounting services. Cost and the time required to become a CPA may be pushing some professionals towards alternative credentials, and we definitely saw that that was the case with the number of CPA exam candidates that are taking the exam. But now with the new legislation coming in from multiple states, reducing the number of college credit hours required to sit for the CPA exam. Hopefully that's going to change things. Additionally, fewer accounting graduates are pursuing the CPA designation, creating a talent pipeline concern for the future. States such as Georgia and Minnesota have already introduced alternative licensure pathways, suggesting that the traditional 150-hour model may not meet the needs of the evolving workforce. The shift has important implications for firms as they reconsider how to build teams, deliver value, and support licensure in an increasingly diverse profession. So there's several different factors here that are contributing to this decline in CPAs, even within accounting firms. So what's interesting here is the larger the accounting firm, the fewer CPAs it has on staff. So when you're looking at the big four, for example, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG, they have fewer and fewer CPAs on staff as opposed to just hiring a regular accountant. So looking here, we can see that the share of CPA licensed staff working in public accounting firms has dropped 50% from 2024. Research indicates that from 2020 to 2024, the percentage of staff has fell from 56 to 48.4%. Despite the trend occurring more frequently at larger firms, the decline spans firms of all sizes. So we're seeing this in the large Big Four firms as well as the smaller boutique firms. This suggests a systematic change in the credentialing trends, recruiting strategies, and the makeup of the public accounting teams. As the accounting profession adapts to talent shortages, how the industry has done so has received mixed reviews. States are now lessening the educational requirements, while companies have been trying to change the way that accountants are perceived through entertainment media, and most recently, highly criticized advertising campaigns from massive technology providers and public accounting firms. On the inside, the firms are increasingly hiring professionals without CPA licenses to fill roles once filled by credentialed or soon to be credentialed accountants. So before, what used to happen is you used to go into one of these big four accounting firms or another smaller firm. You used to get your educational requirements or your work experience. And while you were there, you would obtain your CPA license. But what seems to be happening is a lot of accountants are going into the accounting field, but they are not taking that next step in becoming a CPA and getting their credentials. Many are also investing in AI tools to automate routine work in tax, audit, and financial transformation, further shifting the types of skills that they prioritize in new hires. It's also worth noting that this shift is happening despite a recent modest uptick in undergraduate accounting enrollment following several years of decline. For CFOs, these staffing changes have implications beyond the firms themselves. Many finance leaders who rely on these firms for core services like audit, outsourced accounting, and consulting expect a certain level of technical expertise. So, this is one of the issues that you can run into here if we have fewer CPAs within the profession, because basically getting your CPA license means that you are accredited at a higher level than just an ordinary accountant. And if you are relying on the financial statements of a company, you want to make sure that you have the most qualified people looking at those financials in order to ensure that they are accurate. So, having fewer CPAs on board could potentially hinder the quality of the accounting that is done. So, as firms broaden their talent mix, CFOs may need to reevaluate how they engage with providers and what credentials and capabilities they prioritize when buying services from public accounting firms. So, this is an interesting trend that we're seeing here. Fewer and fewer CPAs within accounting firms, yet there is an increase in the amount of accountants that are coming out of college. They are just not taking that next step into becoming a CPA, and this can be a result of the difficulty in obtaining the CPA license as far as the requirements that are currently being required of the students. The 150-hour rule now becoming the 120-hour rule in many states is hopefully going to help with that. The fact that they extended the window for completing your exams from 18 months to 30 months is also hopefully going to help with the number of CPAs that are going to be in the profession. But there are a lot of boomer CPAs that are retiring from the profession, and they are not being replaced with the younger generation of CPAs. So now is the time. If you're interested in becoming a CPA, I think now is the ideal time to go and get your CPA, because there is going to be a shortage of CPAs and there is going to be a need for these CPAs in the future. If you want to get your CPA license, if you want to learn more about accounting, you can do that at breezycpa.com. We have a full gamut of courses to help you pass the CPA exam, learn more about accounting. Please use promo code BREEZY20 to get 20% off your order at checkout if you do choose to use breezycpa.com. So, taking a look at some of the comments here from this article, we can see that the top comment here says, so it also means that CPA salaries will increase, right? Right? And I think that in the long term, CPA salaries will increase. We are talking about basic economics when it comes to the CPA. If you have fewer CPA in the industries, obviously the people that are holding their CPA will become more valuable to the profession. That's why I encourage everybody who is interested in becoming an accountant, becoming a CPA, to go and get their CPA license, because now I think is the best time to do that, with the lower requirements from the 150-hour rule down to the 120-hour rule. You have 30 months in order to complete all of your exams. Exam fees are going down in certain states, so they are really trying to get as many people into the profession now as possible because of the decline decline in the number of CPAs and accountants in general in the industry. So, continuing on here, I think this just means that there will be even greater push to offshore these roles and force CPA license on people in other countries. Partners are selling out. They don't care what happens in the future to the firm. This could definitely be true here. We have seen that private equity firms are very interested in purchasing accounting firms right now. And this is one of the big reasons. If you have fewer CPAs within the accounting firms, that means that the salaries are going to be lower. You're not paying those CPA salaries. You're paying the staff accountant salaries, which are obviously lower. So this is a deal for these private equity firms. Also, outsourcing is reducing the salaries for these firms. So private equity is looking at accounting right now saying this is a prime time in order to sweep up these accounting firms when the salaries are low, and they can get in and they can purchase these accounting firms at a reasonable price and sell them off in the future, obviously at a higher price, because that's what private equity does. The CPA license allows the holder to sign audits and attestations. It also allows the holder to represent the taxpayer before the IRS. However, an enrolled agent also enjoys this privilege. And this is a valid point. The CPA license, you need it in order to sign an audit for a company, but you don't need it to do the basic accounting for these accounting firms. And with the CPA license, you can obviously do taxes, but an enrolled agent can also do taxes, seeing as if they get their personal identification number. So basically, this means that the only thing that a CPA can legally do is and is the sole domain of the licensed CPA is for signing audits. And that is true. But the thing is that the CPA designation gives you that higher salary. So it's not just about being able to only sign the audits. Generally speaking, the CPA license gets you into jobs easier. It's listed as a requirement for many accounting jobs in the field, and it gives you the ability to do not only the taxes and sign the audits, but to supervise other accountants. So you are going to have a step up on all the other people who aren't getting their CPA license. If you are in the accounting field, I recommend that you get your CPA license. It's only going to do good for you in the future. That said, there is no requirement for the work product or the review to audit be performed by a CPA, only to be supervised. So I think that the biggest question is, how many people are required to sign and supervise the audits? Are there enough? Not enough? How much more money is that signature worth if the person isn't billing the majority of their hours to the client? So that is a valid point, but I think the CPA license is more than that. It can offer you a long-term stability within the auditing field that just being a staff accountant cannot. This problem will get worse as more firms are bought up by private equity. They're going to do whatever they can to keep the salaries low, and that is definitely the case when it comes to private equity. They're trying to keep those salaries low until they sell off the business. Honestly, I think that this is one reason private equity is so interested in buying firms right now. They know that there is a massive shortage of CPAs, and it's about to get worse with the retiring boomers. So again, within the next 10 to 15 years, 70% of the boomer CPAs are going to be retiring out of the profession. So if you're a young accounting student thinking about getting your CPA, I think it's only going to get more valuable in the future when there is going to be a big shortage of CPAs in the profession. Are you forgetting that they outsource CPAs? It doesn't matter about the US-based CPAs. They just need salespeople. So many jobs ask for a CPA and they don't make enough for me to want to go for mine. So I think that's also going to change in the future. Salaries are going to need to adjust. Remember that all of this is cyclical. in every industry, you have ups and downs, and this is a lull in the accounting industry right now that I think that you can take advantage of if you are interested in becoming an accountant or a CPA. Is this that surprising? Public accounting firms generally pyramid with a broad base of young staff who mostly work towards their CPA. So I think what this article is saying is that yes, there is young staff that are entering the accounting field. They're just not that interested in getting their CPA once they become part of these accounting firms. Here, someone says, get your CPA, folks. The value of it is only going to go up, and some states will make it easier to obtain, but others will probably maintain the 150 credit hour rule. So I agree with this. Get your CPA if that's something you're considering doing. The value is only going to go up in time. And I think that as a personal accomplishment and validation, and having that knowledge base behind you of being a CPA is incredibly valuable within the accounting field. So it's only going to be considered more and more valuable with this aging, retiring boomers that we have. And the decline in the number of accountants within the field in general. So if you're interested in getting your CPA license, visit breezycpa.com. Check out our library of courses. Use promo code BREEZY20 to get 20% off your order. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button for future videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.